He rather liked muggles, whom he regarded as ignorant rather than malevolent. He mistrusted dark magic, and he believed that the worst excesses of wizard kind sprang from the all-too-human traits of cruelty, apathy, or arrogant misapplication of their own talents. The heroes and heroines who triumph in his stories are not those with the most powerful magic, but rather those who demonstrate the most kindness, common sense, and ingenuity. The three Hallows genuinely existed, but it could be said Beedle was adding his own spin and the wizards created the Hallows themselves. There is no proof, but here's what Albus Dumbledore said in regards to it. "So it's true?" asked Harry. "All of it? The Peverell brothers? Were the three brothers of the tale?" said Dumbledore, nodding. "Oh yes, I think so. Whether they met death on a lonely road, I think it more likely the Peverell brothers were simply gifted, dangerous wizards who succeeded in creating those powerful objects. The story of them being Death's own Hallows seems to me the sort of legend that might have sprung up around such creations. Personally, my thought is Death didn't actually exist. My personal opinion is they were just three very powerful wizards that wanted to create three very powerful magical objects. Remember what Dumbledore says. To the well-organized mind, death is but the next great adventure." Another question I also get often asked is in regards to the veil that's in the Department of Mysteries. Could the veil be the origin of the Resurrection Stone? Is the Resurrection Stone just a piece of the veil? To this question, I do not know. It's up to yours to determine, but I think it could be plausible. In an interview, J.K. Rowling said, "The veil's been there as long as the Ministry of Magic has been there. And the Ministry of Magic has been there not as long as Hogwarts, but a very long time. We're talking hundreds of years. It's not important to know exactly when, but centuries definitely." J.K. Rowling in an interview also mentioned the second brother in the Resurrection Stone. She mentions Cadmus in regards to bringing his lover back to life. She says, "sad and cold separated from him by a veil." This causes the theory that maybe Cadmus created the Resurrection Stone from the veil, and the veil was created to bring his lover back to life. The veil is a structure in the Department of Mysteries. It seems to be the barrier between the living and the dead. One cannot travel between the two worlds. Unspeakables actually used to study this closely. Quote, "He had the strongest feeling that there was someone standing right behind the veil on the other side of the archway. Gripping his wand very tightly, he edged around the dais, but there was nobody there. All that could be seen was the other side of the tattered black veil. Sirius Black, in a duel with Bellatrix Lestrange, fell through this veil and was killed. It is not positive that Bellatrix killed Sirius. In the book, Bellatrix does not use the killing curse when he is pushed through the veil, unlike the film. The veil could have been Sirius's cause of death, being it's a one-way trip. When Harry decided to make the ultimate sacrifice and carried with him the Resurrection Stone, Sirius actually appeared. Quote, "They were neither ghosts nor truly flesh. He could see that. They resembled most closely the riddle that had escaped from the diary so long ago. He had been a memory made nearly solid, less substantial than living bodies, but much more like ghosts. They moved toward him, and on each face there was the same loving smile. James was exactly the same height as Harry. He was wearing clothes which he dyed, and his hair was untidied, ruffled, and his glasses were a little lopsided, like Mr. Weasley's. Sirius was tall and handsome, and younger by far than Harry had seen him in life. He loped with an easy grace, his hands in his pockets, and grin on his face. Lupin was younger too, and much less shabby, and his hair was thicker and darker. He looked happy to be back in this familiar place, scene of so many adolescent wanderings. Lily's smile was wildest of all. She pushed her hair back, so she drew closer to him, and her green eyes, so like his, searched his face hungrily, as though she would never be able to look at him enough. It seems the stone only appears to bring people back as shades of themselves, just like Cadmus's case with his lover. The chamber in the Department of Mysteries studied love, space, time, and death. It is thought that being so old the Resurrection Stone could be a piece of the veil, and it is possible could be created by Cadmus himself. The stone actually generates shades of the dead people, whereas the veil, you can only hear those from the land of the dead, and you cannot communicate back with the voices in the veil unless you go completely through. Quote, "It seemed to take Sirius an age to fall. His body curved in a graceful arc as he sank backwards through the ragged veil hanging from the arch. Harry saw the look of mingled fear and surprise on his godfather's wasted, once handsome face as he fell through the ancient doorway and disappeared behind the veil, which fluttered for a moment as though in a high wind, then fell back into place. It is also described that the veil is crumbling and cracked. So could it be that the resurrection stone is a piece that cracked and broke off? A question that I also get asked often is, why was it Harry, Ginny, and Luna and Neville hear voices in the Department of Mysteries and were entranced with the veil as opposed to Ron and Hermione? Let's answer this. So first, we only know for a fact that Harry and Luna heard voices. This is most likely because they experienced death and both could see thestrals. Neville was entranced, most likely because his grandfather died while he was present. Ginny never experienced death, but she was possessed by Tom Riddle in the Chamber of Secrets. During this time, Tom's memory presented itself to Harry and could have been a shade of Tom, like the resurrection stone presenting itself to Harry with his friends and family and loved ones before he made the ultimate sacrifice. So what do you think? Do you think there is a connection between the veil and the resurrection stone? The following is a conversation between Luna and Harry Potter. Luna: and anyways, it's not as though I'll never see Mom again, is it? Isn't it? Oh, come on. You heard them. Just behind the veil, didn't you? You mean in that room with the archway? They were just lurking out of sight, that's all. You heard them. If you would like to know more about Harry Potter and the Wizarding World lore, subscribe to Chase and Josh Factor Fantasy Podcast. The link is in the bio, or you can subscribe to Ridiculous Patronus on YouTube. Thank you, everyone. Have a magical week. Today we're going to talk about a